You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 6th of November 2024.
It's a great day for the Irish. Sleepy Joe has done it again. I don't know how he managed to pull this one off. That cheeky Irish energy.
Mick.
No, wait. Gareth, you're confused. Another genocidal old man is about to step into the White House.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. First we had Joe Biden. Then we had Kamala. And you thought that was all you were going to get. And then it was Trump. My dad's... I feel like I don't have anything to say about Trump. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was surprised when that happened when I read it. Because, like, I remember in 2016... I went to bed and...
those... How old were we back then?
16 years old. We were 16 years old, ladies and gentlemen. We was 16 years old back then in 2016.
Couldn't wait to go back to bed.
So I remember waking up. So The Guardian, everybody thought, it's in the bag for Hillary. So what we're going to do is I
never read The Guardian, so I wouldn't know, but...
Yeah, The Guardian, everybody at Comedy Unleashed right now booing at the speakers on their laptop. Boo!
I was booing in a leftist way.
Yeah, with their coverage of Gaza over the past year.
Yeah.
And anyway, the thing is, they had decided we know what the outcome is going to be, so let's have a little crack. We'll have a bit of fun. So what we'll do is we'll make these little animated characters, like little pixel.
Yeah.
If you can imagine like a sprite in a video game, but one looked like Hillary and the other one looked like Trump. Okay. And they just had them
Mario.
They had them in their kind of idle animation just across from each other. And they had like the little progress bars to be like, this is how many seats people need to win. And then, so I went to bed and then I woke up in the morning and I clicked open the app and Trump's little sprite was jumping up and down in a big celebration motion. And I was like, oh my God, he won. Oh my God. Like holy shit. But today the Guardian they didn't have any cuddly thing when I went to bed. They just had like the normal results. I had the same app open. I opened it this morning. Trump won and I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
And that was my kind of response to it. Yeah.
Though he won the House.
He won the Senate.
I was talking about the White House. And he won the Senate. I was about to say.
Yeah, the thing about it was the only time where I got like genuinely like apocalyptically like holy shit was when I remembered that JD Vance was vice president and I was like, oh God, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's such a freak.
He's so weird.
I mean, obviously they all are.
They all are, but like...
yeah. So...
yeah.
He has one against two women now. More than any other candidate.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Thoughts?
I was going to say that he was a woman beater, and then I thought maybe I won't.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is I do up until the election when Kamala and the Democrats sent Richie Torres to Michigan to go, all these Arabs should be killed and this is good actually.
That's not how you pronounce her name.
Huh?
That's not how you pronounce. Isn't it Kamala?
I think it's Kamala. Yeah. Hey, don't need to remember that. All right. None of the fucking.
Can't
You
slander
don't
the
even need to
dead.
really worry about it. And then they go
Yeah.
we're going to send Bill Clinton over there to Pennsylvania or something. And Bill Clinton's like, all the Arabs should be exterminated. And you're just like, wow, like you guys really. And then like I kept seeing people online, they're going, for goodness sake, don't vote for Jill Stein. Don't throw your vote away. Like
Yeah.
what we're going to do is we're going to get Kamala in and then we're going to push her left on all of these. And I was like, he's already in there. He's already not doing anything, you know? Like you just have this thing where it's like, I just had this feeling where it's like, they cannot be allowed to win. Like they can't, I don't want Trump to win, but they cannot be rewarded for what they're doing of just seeing this and going like there's something. I saw Rudy Giuliani get up on stage and go, Palestinians are being trained from the age of 2 years old to kill Americans. And basically then said, we need to give the Israelis all they need to get the job done. So he's saying we should kill 2-year-olds and don't feel bad for them.
Yeah.
And even that, I was like, it was very detestable. But ultimately, like, when you see Netanyahu talking about, I want to kill them all, I know this is going to sound bad, but I find that position like better than doing it anyway and then pretending that nothing is happening. That was driving me absolutely crazy. I couldn't handle it, you know?
But Biden was also like, you know, he was like, they cut off babies' heads and stuff.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
But I know, yeah. Anyway. And then they just repeated.
Like,
you said, yeah, sorry.
Giuliani was just saying different sorts of batshit stuff to Biden. And Biden's old enough to know better.
But like, it's just because they were going like, yeah, but what happens if like democracy is going to die if Trump gets in? I was like, well, if this is democracy, then maybe it should die because it looks pretty fucking bad. Okay. It's just this thing of like, I don't know. Like one of the things kept getting brought up was like, oh yeah, reproductive rights. And I was like, but they overturned Roe v. Wade under the Biden administration. So what difference does the office of president make to that exactly?
Yeah.
You know, and then it was like, and then what are they going to do about the power of the Supreme Court? Are they going to pack it? Are they going to abolish it? Are they going to introduce term limits? Are they going to do anything? It's like, no. And it's like, what are they going to do? Hey, it's Brat Summer. It's Brat Summer, everybody. And reproductive rights are on the ballot. Okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
And now they're just going to elect more Catholics to the Supreme Court. Isn't it by the way, the Supreme Court are all Catholic?
But when they do that, sorry, but like that part where they go as well, like, are they going to load like the Supreme Court? It's like, it's already fucking loaded for a generation. I don't know what, like, you know what I mean? I don't really understand how it can be more loaded. So here's a post from October 27th, okay? This is from Adam Y. Obasala, who this is a message from one of the imams in Michigan that met with Trump yesterday. So if you remember, a bunch of Muslim clerics, I believe, went up on stage and endorsed Trump at one of his rallies, okay? And he was like, yeah, we're going to get rid of you guys. Do you want to come up here and say a few words? And they're like, yeah, vote Trump. We want to be gone. All right, cool. Whatever. I mean, like, I'm doing the thing that I accused other people of doing. It's like, I think at that point, it's just like, we need the Democratic Party to take us seriously. Like, we can go somewhere else and we will go somewhere else. And we will do something so in your face that you have to pay attention to us, like endorse Trump. But anyway, I just wanted to read this post from one of the imams that said, yeah.
Like, I know the point you're making, but that is particularly suicidal.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's not
like,
good.
They should be the ones voting Jill Stein.
Yeah. Stein. The way that you said Steen there,
yeah,
I think it's dealing in certain tropes. Chilling, as David Baddiel would say.
Yeah.
But like, on top of that, I think like, what can be overlooked, maybe this is giving them too much credit, is just how obscene and apocalyptic what we're seeing in Gaza is. Do you know what I mean? You know, where it's like, what you're doing doesn't really make any sense, but then you're just like, imagine how like traumatized you'd have to be, like anything. Do you know, just please listen, please say anything, please do anything. Because here's the message, all right? A group of local Michigan imams and religious leaders were invited to meet former President Trump about issues important to Muslims. Many imams decided to accept this opportunity in order to present the urgent concerns of our community to a potential winner of this very close election. Here's the highlighted section. Unfortunately, a similar request was made by a group of Muslim community leaders to meet Vice President Kamala Harris, and it was denied.
That's crazy.
She just said no. And here's like, so Trump then appeared, remember, on Rogan, and he's like, yeah, I told Vladimir, you're not coming in. That was fun. Okay, he actually said that.
Yeah.
That made me laugh. And then he said something really terrifying about playing like fucking chicken with Kim Jong-un, where he's like, I got a big red button too, and it's a lot bigger than yours. It's a lot bigger than you. And you're just like, stop talking. That was funny when you were saying Vladimir Putin's not coming in. All right?
Yeah. Would you be more scared of Baby Rocket Man?
No, but it wasn't that I was scared of. The thing I was scared of was that he's talking about the big red button that you press to fire a nuclear missile to something.
Right.
You know, you're just kind of like, don't be doing that. Don't be like, I can do it. I can push it. You're just like, that's so fucking scary. Okay.
Yeah, I just presume no one told you about that.
What I've seen is just people going like, how could this happen? And then you go, what about the genocide? And then they go, it's not the genocide. Like, okay, well, like, I don't think it's a 1-to-1 with the genocide, but I do think it tends to like flavor everything that happened in this election. And you can look at how they responded to the genocide and as a result, the decisions that they made and be like, this is why this is an incredibly bad campaign. Anyway, I'm getting all sidetracked. Joe Rogan tweeted out on 29th of October, 2024. Also, for the record, the Harris campaign has not passed on doing the podcast. They offered a date for Tuesday, but I would have had to travel to her, and they only wanted to do an hour. I strongly feel the best way to do it is in the studio in Austin. My sincere wish is to just have a nice conversation and get to know her as a human being. I really hope we can make it happen. Obviously, it didn't happen, but imagine that, like one of the biggest fucking podcasts in the world talking to the people that you like need to win over. Well, I mean, they're not going to win them over, but just that every opportunity to do the wrong thing, they were like, let's do that. Let's do the exact wrong thing that we could possibly do. Like, I don't know.
Did you see your thing? And it was like, she was like, doing like, she'd be like, this is what we do for like black men or Latino men.
Yeah.
Did you see the black man one?
No.
It was really weird. Like, it was just like, she was like, we'd like help crypto and make weed legal.
Nice.
It just seems sort of like racist.
Incredibly right. Like Barack Obama was like, remember he appeared and he's like, now fellas, like, I know that you don't want to vote for a freaking bitch, but why don't you get off your porch, take your 40 down to the polling station and just cast a dang ballot anyway. And you're like, just, there's no chance that these people could be looking at how much money's coming in versus how much money's going out. They couldn't have real concerns. No, they're all just like sexist, misogynist idiots. That's the only possible reason. It's like,
anyway, 4 more years.
I also
One of the
kind
two
of
presidents served non-consecutive terms.
He's second president to not serve. Yeah.
Who's the other one?
I have no clue. I do know Martin Van Buren. I'm going to guess Martin Van Buren. Does that make sense?
I think it was Grover Cleveland.
No.
Because Grandpa, in the famous George Bush episode, he goes, I got spanked by Grover Cleveland on 2 non-consecutive occasions. Which was a deep cut.
Yes, if that's correct. You fucking legend. I can't believe you freaking legend. I know the word
Grandpa,
legend gets tossed around a lot.
Fucking legend.
But yeah, they did everything they could to lose it, and they lost it. And I don't really know what to say. I think.
Do you know who else who lost it?
Who?
Grandpa
Simpson.
He lost his girlfriend. Remember when she died?
Actually, I don't really know that episode. Something Bailey,
Grandpa gets a
wasn't it?
girlfriend. What?
Her name was like Bailey or something. Something Bailey.
Vaporizer. Her name's yeah. And then she dies. They go on a roller coaster together.
Okay.
And then the next day she dies in her sleep.
Another bit of a thing is that Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar won their Senate seats despite massive opposition from Israeli lobbies. Rashida Tlaib won, or I think she's set to win 77% of the vote in Michigan, which is a swing state that Kamala lost, even though Biden won it the previous time.
Yeah. Also known as a grandpa state.
As a grandpa.
No.
Hey, now who's Grandpa Simpson? I tell you who Grandpa Simpson is. It'd be a little man called Joseph Robinette Biden.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's Jasper.
What a time to be alive.
No, who's the guy?
The old man Jakers or whatever.
He drops his trousers and dances on the street.
He was used to old grey mare. Sorry, why did I say old Jakers? Where does that come from?
Old grey mare. He ain't what he used to be.
Yeah. She ain't what she used to be. Get it right.
Old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be. Ain't what she used to be. Ain't what she used to be.
That guy would be big on TikTok these days. When moves like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Boom Men?
From Saw.
No, from the. It's like a father and son. Then they're called Get the Boom. They're on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh yeah, Zaina was going on about them. Something like the Rizzler or what's his name or the fucking.
The Rizzler's different, though he is closely aligned. This guy AJ, who used to be like a real estate salesman and tried to go viral, and then he got a big, like, it's like if Tony Soprano and AJ Soprano were like yassified, you know, that's what they look like. And they're like big into Costco. And then they adopted another fatter child called Rizzler. He never seems to go home. Because there's an interview with the kid, and he was like, I saw a video of the Rizzler, and I said, I want to hang out with him. And then the dad was like, yeah, so I rang up the Rizzler's parents, and I got him over here. And then it just seemed like he stayed there forever.
Imagine that dad like, hey, I'm making content with my son. Can your son come over and make some content with us? And then they're like, all right, cool. Sounds good. You're an adult making content with, children.
With two boys? What can be wrong with that? You can just keep
Most natural thing in the world.
Yeah. I like the interview with Jimmy Kimmel because Jimmy Fallon seemed incredibly irritated to have them on. He really didn't seem to enjoy it at all.
Whereas he loved having a little man from fucking Kazakhstan come on and deliver a searing indictment of Trump, which naturally lost him the election.
He also had Trump on, remember?
Yeah, remember when he fucking ruffled his hair? He really ruffled it, though. Can we get, one thing that people go
applause.
He shouldn't have, they were like, he shouldn't have humanized Trump so much. And I was like, well, first of all, Trump was on Saturday Night Live and all these other things, and you guys were following him constantly. It's not all on fucking Jimmy Fallon. But secondly, when he ruffled his hair, he didn't half ruffle his hair. He went fucking all in. And that's what you're always wanting to know, how is that, Do you know what I mean? What is there? It's just impossible to start with one end of Trump's hair and try to follow it all the way to the end, and you just can't do it. I know most people. I have a theory
about his hair.
Yeah.
About how, I think the common knowledge is that he got his bald spot cut out.
Yeah.
But it's really long on one side.
Yeah.
He's bald in the middle.
Yeah.
Really long on one side, right?
Mm.
Rolls it over.
Yeah.
Back over. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Forward.
Yeah. So if he didn't do anything with it, he'd just have like one,
One
like,
long.
like just like 2 foot of hair that
Yeah.
goes all the way down to his arse or something, you know?
Yeah, they can grab onto.
Oh, so
That's what was happening when he was with that porn star. She was like
yeah.
pulling on that bit of hair, wrapping it around his neck.
At Simon Harris TD says, congratulations to US President-elect at real Donald Trump on your victory. The people of the United States have spoken, and Ireland will work to deepen and strengthen the historic and unbreakable bonds between our people and our nations in the years ahead.
Hey man, that's just good diplomacy, you know? Like when De Valera wrote to Hitler and said,
that didn't happen. Apparently that
keep on trucking.
That's ahistorical.
Don't give up.
Yeah. See you next. I'm trying to think of something you put in a yearbook, you know.
Please kill those Jews. We do not want them here.
That's what he said. I read it in the Times of Israel.
Yeah, I read it in a Dilbert cartoon.
Here are the headlines, the Irish headlines for what's happening. Michael McDowell says, America deserved better than this contest, and so did the world. No, they didn't.
No.
If they allow Gaza to happen, they don't deserve anything. I'm sorry. You know. U.S. presidential election was not about one woman, but all women across America, writes Petula Dvorak in
they
the Irish
lost.
Independent.
The women,
yeah.
the women should have tried harder.
Bye-bye, women. Bye-bye. Here's one that I thought we could read, though. President Trump again. 5 reasons why Donald Trump won the U.S. presidential election in the Irish Independent, Adrian Weckler. Guess, I will tell you, spoiler alert, guess which is not cited as a reason at all why he could have possibly lost.
Misogyny.
No, that gets him name dropped a bunch of times. It would be a certain Gary Gannon's nickname in college, Gaza.
Fat ass.
Fat ass flesh beard. Which one do we decide to read? You tell me, because one of them is before you leave. Okay, Larry Donnelly, this absolute moron who writes about U.S. politics for the Journal, and he's an American, so that means that he knows American politics. So he gets invited on to talk about the horse race constantly, and he's like, Joe Biden is an honorable man, and he did the right thing stepping aside, and Harris has us in the bag. Now he's written like, how did it go so horribly wrong for the Democrats, and what do they do now?
Yeah, the horse race. You mean the stallion versus the nag? Well, we're only doing one American one.
We're only doing one American. So which one would it be? Will it be
the 5?
Well, the 5 things you can just say really quickly.
Could I please get a glass of water?
Fucking water, would you? Okay, could you do that for me?
Okay. 1 sec.
Here are some things that I wrote down, which we're probably not going to get to, but I was talking about it with a patron of the show. Don't know if they want to be mentioned. I'll ask after this, but Enda. And we were having a moment of just like, God, man, this sucks. What's going on? What are we going to do? Said very much the same things that I just already said to James. But here are some other things that this is a valuable insight that I had straight off the cuff to Enda. So I thought I'd add them here. Because I'm just really fucking smart, basically. But I was thinking about, like, you know, because there's this argument that, like, yeah, but like things are going to get worse in the Middle East. But the past year, so another red line gets crossed like every other week. So the next time a red line gets crossed, I think I'm just going to feel like all of those other red lines that were crossed. I wrote down then, I think the fucked up thing to say, but it's true, is that this is the only outcome where things can actually change. Like there's a new anger and animosity. There might be new thinking to try and figure out how to make an insurgent candidate who is outside of the Democratic Party and his defeat won't result in the death of the whole movement. this is Aloe Bernie Sanders as well, because like Trillbilly Workers Party, which is a great podcast based in Kentucky, they were talking about like they hate Sanders. And the reason they hate Sanders is because that campaign ended. And what does he do with that apparatus that he's built up over all of these years that had like this massive grassroots funding behind it? He just hands that shit over to Nancy Pelosi. Suddenly they start getting texts from Nancy Pelosi talking about how important it is to vote for these like shitty Democrats that they hate in these areas. And it's like, well, like, well, where's Sanders now? You know, like it was a time where he was getting thousands of people to come out and see him at even the smallest of appearances. Now it's just like, it's just grim is what it is. And it can't be all on one man, because like, it's not the only example where that's happened. Anyway, I'll read out the rest later because I think he's coming back.
From later in the recording when James went to the toilet.
So back to the previous messages I was reading out. Maybe it will be outside of politics too, in unions or other activity. The vibes are going to be fucked up in America, but think about it if Harris had won. Okay, back to brunch, more hand-wringing genocide, limp along for a few more years until the next Republican fascist. Now as well, people can possibly see how fucking bad the genocide is. So obviously what I meant there was that like, with Biden having to own the genocide, then people were going like, oh, I know, but like, it's complicated. And obviously he's a decent man, and you know, when the US then says like, oh, I told Netanyahu not to do it, then people are like, they're working tirelessly for a ceasefire. If Trump said that now, like nobody would fucking believe it. So I don't know whether that's any sort of help either. Also, like I said, Trump is actually susceptible to a base who care more about domestic policy than foreign policy. There is no way to imagine a different future, there is a way now to imagine a different future which did not exist under Harris. At the same time, bad. This is very, very, very bad. It's very, very bad. It's not good. It's just that, like, funnily enough, I think it's insanely enough the least worst option, even though it's not good. Anyway, that's my thought on that. The only other thing that kind of gives me pause for thought, though, is that it's a second administration. So he's not actually as susceptible as he was before, because he's not going to get back in. But then Trump is such a singularly stupid character. Like, he needs people to like him. So, remember the time, okay, so he wanted to take credit for COVID but couldn't. Then Biden kind of, because he was like, oh yeah, I got the vaccine. The vaccine came out under me. And he's up in front of a crowd of people and he goes, oh, I took the vaccine. And they go, boo. And he's like, oh, it wasn't that. But, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. It's like, you know, I feel like he can't handle that. And now, you know, maybe the people around him, his supporters, are going to be more bloodthirsty than anybody that's ever come before him. I'm just saying that there's all these things about, like, you know, what is possible and what we know is impossible. And after a year of what happened under a Democratic administration, we know what is impossible. That's my take on that now. It's liable to change. I'm still processing the whole information. I'm just looking for a bright side in all of this. Maybe I shouldn't. But yeah, it's honestly like, I don't know, it just they couldn't be allowed to win.
Okay, 5 reasons Trump didn't get elected. 1.
All right.
Orange skin. 2. Fatness. 3. Belt size. 4. His little hands. Need I say more?
Yeah. Also, you
5.
said about his hair earlier on, but the truth about his hair, I saw it actually in a documentary called The Simpsons. It's a little dog on his head, and it gets up every now and again, and it kind of moves around. And yeah.
And his pubes are like that too.
Pubes are another little dog. Yeah, mate.
A separate dog.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't imagine Trump has pubes. I imagine he's completely smooth.
I'd say he pulls them out due to stress. You know what I mean?
He thinks that they're filthy. He thinks, no, they're gross. They're disgusting.
I would love a good look at Trump's body. You know what I mean?
I would love. I mean, only the one time and never again. But like, he should have to stand up on a stock, turn around 5 times. It'll be over in a minute, and we all get to know.
And so with like normal lighting. You know what I mean? So you're not like, it doesn't look any worse than it normally does. It doesn't look any better. It's just like, this is what he sees.
Yeah.
When he's in that wonderful shower of his.
And that golden shower is, huh? Am I right, folks? Where's the tapes? Vladimir?
Yeah. And further that, where are the emails?
Yeah, what about our emails?
Hillary's emails. So 5 reasons, what is it, Kamala?
5 reasons Trump won the U.S. presidential election, according to Adrian Weckler.
Okay. 1.
It was as clear in the early hours of the morning when I left the Glum Democratic Election Party for the re-elected Irish-American Congresswoman Mary Scanlon. And just shut up. Number 1, the Hispanic vote moved towards Trump. Exit polls suggest 45% of Hispanics voted for Trump. And I guarantee that for the next 4 years, not longer, my dad is going to be... And the funny thing is that the Hispanic vote actually moved towards Trump. I'm going to be hearing that a lot. Looking forward to that. Yeah. Number 2, not enough white women voted for Harris. Yeah, well, if we're hating on white women, this one I can get behind. I love hating white women.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Where are the white women at, eh?
Yeah. Number 3, it was the economy, stupid. The 3 biggest issues, according to all polls and exit polls, were democracy, the economy, and abortion. While pundits have hailed the U.S. economy as being more robust than other developed nations, this may not have translated to enough ordinary voters who paid. Number 4, working class still feel ignored.
Okay.
The same point as number 3. When Bernie Sanders visited Trinity College earlier this year, he sounded a word of caution about how to fight Trump. The Republican, he said, was very good at connecting emotionally with unfashionable white working class voters. Some Democrats, he implied, are not. As an example, Joe Biden's forgiveness of college student debt, while popular among many families, may also have highlighted to families with no college kids how much they're being left behind. That's so stupid. He partially forgave some student debt, and their takeaway from this was like, what about the people who couldn't afford to go to college? And they're like, look at all these rich kids getting better. I was like, this is actually a failure of Biden's policy for not going far enough, not for Biden doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, like, you should have free college.
Yeah. Well, he certainly lost.
Number 5, we didn't get to the last one.
Now,
this one is pretty crazy, I think. Yeah? Do you want to know?
I'm waiting.
I thought you would say something. Number 5, Harris had a big task in winning an election in 3 months. What the fuck?
No.
It's easy to forget how high a hill Kamala Harris had to climb. She really did not. Like, the thing is, everybody was so excited to get rid of Biden. After that happened, people were buzzing. They were like, maybe she'll be good on cancer. Maybe she'll be good on all sorts of things. Maybe everything is going to be okay. You know? And then what happens? When Hamas raped all those women in a big brown mess that just fell over the border, and that's why we need to fucking enact Trump's immigration policy and abortion rights, but we're not going to do anything about it. But whatever, just whatever. What am I going to do?
And then they also just kept her away from the media for like a month.
Yeah. Well, here's another one. Okay, do you remember when Tim Walz said JD Vance is weird? And then for like a week, all the Republicans were like, I'm not fucking weird, you stupid bitch, you fucking... And they were like melting down. and it was incredibly effective. Do you know that he was actually told to stop saying that? He was like, no, that's too antagonistic. When they go low, we go high. So don't bother dealing in those sorts of politics. I was like, you fucking idiots. Do you not know what terrain you're working on right now? Like, will you ever understand that this is where we're at? You know?
Yeah. It was also like, I've heard a lot of people going, oh, they should have had thing, you know, a committee thing. What do you call that? When all the Democratic people want to be president and they have to choose one.
Oh, what is that? Primaries?
Yeah, they should have had a primary.
They should.
They didn't, and everyone said that at the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And now they're going, yeah, in retrospect, didn't think about it at the time, but we should have had a primary.
I would love to know, like, if I looked up this guy's name and, like, what other articles he's written, I guarantee you he was like, Joe can still win this if you believe he can. Like, he would have been up straight until the final moment with this. And now he's like, no, the thing is, she had a lot of, it's like, idiot. You fucking idiot.
What do you think the first thing he'll do is?
Trump.
Yeah,
fucking something horrible domestically, no doubt, to do with migrants, 100%, and it'll be really awful. But there's a lot of stuff, the bad stuff that's going to happen in the United States, and it's going to become a much worse place for people to live.
I don't think that's the first thing he'll do, but he's going to pull the funding out from the Ukraine.
Do you think?
100%.
I mean, this is the other thing about it that I'm like kind of... So, like, I was listening to this podcast with Lexi Alexander, who's a Palestinian filmmaker. She was being interviewed about, like, how she said, do not vote for Kamala Harris because, like, you can't keep rewarding this behavior. We have to show them we have somewhere else to go. And then she goes, like, she was like, would Trump be better or worse? She was asked. And she's like, I think, this is what she thought. There's a bunch of people I've heard say this as well, that he would be better for Gaza. Okay. And the reason that she said this was, he's like, first of all, it doesn't matter who's president of the United States. You ask somebody in Gaza, they'll just be like, they're all evil and they're all bombing us. Like, you know, genocide A versus genocide B. What difference does that make? Yeah. But then the second thing she said is that Trump is actually susceptible to some sort of outside pressure. First of all, he is somebody who runs pretty much exclusively on domestic policies. Okay. And he has frequently said, like, you know, we need to stop sending money to these. Now, whether he does it or not is another thing entirely. But the fact is that, you know, after all this time of like Biden is not there. There is no Biden. So there is nobody to be able to appeal to. There's nothing that's happening. He doesn't remember what you've said before. Yeah. He doesn't respond to it. He thinks Golda Meir is still, you know, whatever, president, prime minister, whatever the fuck it is over there. And he's just going on autopilot. Oh no, those dirty Arabs are killing those are beautiful Israelis, and they need to be exterminated, you know?
What about Trump, though?
But that's what I mean, is that, like, Biden is not able to be appealed to. But if you go to Trump, like, fuck you. Like, we want money here. We don't want to send it to Israel. You could imagine a scenario where he would be like, we need to stop this. We need to get the money back here. This isn't good, you know?
Or at least reduce it. And I just feel like that's what he's going to do with Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's just going to make the thing a lot less... Like, it's sort of semi-stable at the minute because there's this, like, prolonged stalemate going on.
Yeah.
Whereas, if he pulls out the funding that he's giving Ukraine, it'll probably mean that, like, Russia sees that as an opportunity, and then the EU will try to ramp up military spending.
Yeah.
And I'd say Ireland will probably try to get more, like, it'll increase the urgency with which Ireland tries to join the EU or the NATO.
Yeah.
I think it'll see, like, more pressure put on Ireland to militarize.
Yeah.
And the government, like, either the two main parties, they're extremely happy to do that.
Yeah.
You know? So I'd say that'll be the big repercussion for us for the Trump presidency.
Yeah, but I mean, it was also sort of going that way anyway. Do you know, like a lot of this stuff, when people say this is going to happen, it's like I feel like this was always going to happen. Do you know the idea of
But
like, yeah,
see, I can imagine with, say it was like Kamala gets in.
Mm.
I don't think she would have pulled the funding from Ukraine because she like would believe in that policy of, you know, trying to make Russia bleed, you
Yeah.
know? Whereas I don't think Trump does.
yeah,
So I think that with under Trump, you could see Russia taking over Ukraine.
no, I could totally see that.
And then they'll be
Um,
right up against the EU.
Yeah. And I think they could take over a sizable chunk of Ukraine. I don't know if they'll like get the whole thing in the one
Yeah,
go,
maybe not the whole thing, but like,
but it's
I
not
think
good.
no. Luckily, we're all the way over here in Ireland.
Yeah. Letting other people fight our fucking battles.
Yeah. Yeah, we should really get over there.
Yeah.
Too bad I can't. I'm busy.
Busy just enjoying my freedoms that I can take for granted because once again, somebody else is fucking dying for them.
Yeah. So what's in the real news? In the Irish
In real news, so I have an Irish section as well. So there's US presidential elections. And now I've got first I wanted to talk about like in a lead in to the Irish general election, Brian Stanley, which now feels like a distant memory. But basically a woman, the kind of news came out about Brian Stanley, like what nobody's entirely clear about what's meant to have happened.
And it's so much stupider than
I know.
you could ever. Here's a story I heard, and you can tell me what you've heard.
Oh God.
Well,
Not that I was just like, you're asking me to verify that, or like say like, hey, are you going to tell me that, like, you know? And I'm like, I don't do this to me. I can't.
well, here's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Stanley met this woman in the Doll bar,
Mm-hmm.
and she was too drunk to go home. And he was like, "You can stay in my hotel room. There's 2 beds."
Yeah.
And then I go up to his room, and there's 1 bed, like 1 double bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's really shocked. And then from then on, he said he slept on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and she said he slept in the bed, but they lined up pillows but in between them.
Mm-hmm.
And then she sent him a text saying she wanted 60,000 and that she had a picture of him in his underwear. And he said, "Oh no, I got changed in the toilet.
Yeah.
There's no way you could have a picture of me in my underwear," which implies he sleeps in pajamas.
Yeah.
Uh,
But he's a little nightcap on as well.
yeah,
Hot water bottle and slippers.
yeah. And then the end.
I don't even know if we know that much, honestly. Because here's the article I read. Okay, this is from RTE. It's Michael Lahan wrote.
You can't trust RTE.
No, you really can't. He resigned from Sinn Féin 5 days after being presented with these draft findings. Blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't have read that. So the report found certain things are not disputed, such as the fact that both Brian Stanley and the woman who made the complaint stayed in a hotel room in Dublin on the 11th of October last year. Mr. Stanley had booked the hotel room, and this was a room with a double bed. A statement from Brian Stanley's solicitor said when the subject complaint was made, it was asserted to be a confidential process to which all parties were strictly bound, blah, 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 blah. Where is this? Where is the thing? It is not disputed. They just have to keep saying this, by the way. It is not disputed that Brian Stanley and the woman had met in Leinster House earlier on in the evening of the 11th of October 2023, and Mr. Stanley had parked her car in the car park there. After meeting in the Leinster House canteen, they went to a pub and had 2 more drinks. 2 days later, on 13th of October, the woman who made the complaint texted Mr. Stanley seeking €60,000 in compensation for what she described as emotional trauma. And like, whatever about her, I think that it comes across as the stupidest thing ever, where it's like, I'm going to shake down this guy for this is Lewinsky level shit. And you're just like, no, what made you think that? What made you think you had like a smoking gun here,
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, it wasn't like sexual assault. It was just something that was
like she's not even
cool.
she's not saying anything else.
No.
Apart from there's one bed.
Yeah. And then the thing that makes it seem like even more like she's a fucking idiot, I'm sorry to say. The woman told RTE News that this was ill-judged and unwise, and it was done because she was in a state of shock and was scared at the time. I don't know what's going on. Oh, give me €60,000, please.
And then your man Stanley, he's running. Okay, he's still running.
He is, as an independent.
As the independent Republican independent.
What about in the underpants? Something like that? Does that make sense?
He's running to the bathroom in his underpants to get changed in his pajamas.
Yeah.
And he said it was like a setup.
I have no idea why it would be a setup. What fucking possible purpose? I know that maybe they didn't want him to. Because I think the implication is like, no, they didn't want me running. I was like, okay, well then why would they want you disgraced? Because how would that help them in an election year?
I know. And I was saying, like, first, like you're running in their party. They could just be like, we're not selecting you.
Yeah, exactly. That's all they need to do,
And then if it was anything more, if he was thrown up a fuss, they could just threaten to beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? Like, there are just so many more things they could have done before, like, a honey trap.
You know my ways. You know that I would invite this lady up to my room and then, not do anything with her.
This woman who was my age.
Yeah.
But,
so, like, the thing the other thing that he's done, though, is, like, just the most, I don't know what to call it, just, like, don't do this, man. I know that you're upset, but please don't do this.
Why? What did he do?
No, just that thing where he goes, oh, it's a kangaroo court. And he knows exactly what he means when he says that. And then there's video of him on Virgin Media, James' favorite channel, where he...
because I like looking at the virgins.
Oh, he's got me again. Basically, they go to whatever his constituency is, and the title of this video is Sinn Féin responds to Brian Stanley's claims that his controversial departure was handled, quote, appalling by the party. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a really bad way that I phrased that. But the video contains him shaking hands and meeting Simon Harris in his constituency. And he's very like, and they're like, Simon Harris like telling him, oh yeah, no, that's a shame of the way they've treated you. I was like, what way are we meant to feel about this? I thought that the idea was that Brian Stanley was a criminal and that was like reflective of how fucked up people in Sinn Féin were. And now it's like, no, actually, he's the victim of an injustice and he should still be in Sinn Féin running against my candidate in this constituency. Do you know? It's like, what's going on exactly? Why are we...
I know. I didn't realize you meant Simon Harris.
I'll send you the video again in the chat. I don't know if there's any...
Simon Harris meeting Colin Farrell.
Was that recent?
Yeah, it must have been when he was in the past couple of months.
Zainab said there, by the way, good news, everybody. Good news for Zainab fans. She is going to receive an Irish passport. They let anybody in these days. We did a GoFundMe because she needed to raise €950 within 10 days, which we just didn't have. And everybody gave very generously. So now she's going to be a freaking Irish citizen. Am I right? This is great news, folks. Thank you very much for that. Why did I bring that up? Oh, yeah. Zainab was going to Photoshop her face over Colin Farrell for that picture. And I thought that was funny.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
But his face is partly the funniest bit about it.
That's the thing. It's like, there's not really anything. The only thing that makes that photograph funny is his weird, like, hairband that's, like, making his hair stand out on end in a really weird way.
His face is also really puffy. It looks like
Yeah.
he's been crying or something. Doesn't he look like the penguin?
He is the penguin. Do you remember? He plays
I
the
meant
penguin.
Simon Harris.
Oh, right. Two freaking penguins right next to you. Why are you showing me a picture of two penguins, huh?
Yeah.
Two penguins, because I'm from fucking... Where's that place in Ireland where they say stuff like that? Penguins.
I've never been there.
All right. Well,
I've never heard
right
of a
in.
place like that.
CelticLigers@gmail.com.
If that's if that's where you're from, let us know.
Yeah. CelticLigers@gmail.com. DM us. DMs are open. Hey, great show. But Simon...
I'm also going on Shite Talk.
I thought you already went on Shite Talk.
No, I'm going on it tomorrow.
You son of a bitch. You told me that you weren't free on Tuesday.
Well, then I did something else, so.
Well, it suits us anyway because the election happened then, so we have something to talk about.
Yeah, we would have been too nervous to record yesterday.
Yeah, which way, one way or the other. And listen, let me just tell you, folks, I would have been right if I had been asked who I thought was going to win.
Yeah. No,
So the
you would have
election,
been
by the
both
way,
ways.
the Irish election is rumoured to be announced on Friday. And it's probably going to be the 29th. No, this Friday they're going to announce it. And it's most likely going to be for the 29th.
I hate how coy he's been.
I hate how coy they're letting him be. I hate that, like, he's doing this and it's like, I'll never tell. And then they're just like, oh, well, this is entirely normal. And then I was like, why is this happening? And then I remembered, oh yeah, it's because, I don't know, the normal length of time for the election that it was the last time. Sinn Féin made just a surprise surge in the polls, and all of a sudden it was like, fuck, now they won like a big, load of seats, whatever. And so now he's like, how do we prevent that from happening? Well, we just need to shorten the amount of time. We need to give ourselves a head start for campaigning. We need to be getting out there before anybody else knows that they're able.
Head start. It's crazy. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's always like, why are you surprised by anything anyone does? But like, it is mad how like there are just posters up in parts of the country.
And then the one I sent into the chat as well of that one.
That was so
where
funny.
Like, so it's a guy called Shay Brennan. I guess, does he have any relations? Anyway. And the other fella, I don't know. What was the guy who used to be the Minister for Finance?
To the bread?
Brennan? So yeah, this one, it's a poster.
Does your dad make the bread?
Are you the bread man? But I'm all about that bread. So they put up a poster, and it's Councillor Shay Brennan running. Okay, and it's just a normal campaign poster, except they have printed off of like a Word document, just slapped up there.
Yeah,
public meeting, careers in the EU, 30th of October at 8 p.m. I was like, yeah. So it's actually not a campaign poster now. It's actually like a public meeting. So it's fine that I'm doing this now.
Yeah,
it's like crazy.
That's like the laziest loophole I've ever heard, even for Irish politics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's something crazy and lazy.
It's like something fucking crazy is right. But then like I just to skip into another section that I have just briefly and then we'll bounce back. But like, so the government go out. This is a headline that RTE obediently ran for them. Government set to remove blockage to occupied territories bill. Government. This is another one from the Journal.
They should call that a giving headline. Because the media are giving head.
So the second one from the Journal, government planning significant new powers to search U.S. aircraft suspected of carrying weapons. And it's like, they're just saying, yeah, we're definitely going to do all of this. Just remember to vote for us. I mean, not vote for us because we're not electioneering. We're not doing any of that whatsoever. And then what ends up happening was, so basically, I don't know whether to call this good politics or not, whether... I find everybody who's in politics in Ireland to be incredibly fucking stupid. So to tell them to act like they did something clever, but ultimately Sinn Féin, Labour, and the Soc Dems were like, okay, you want to pass the Occupied Territories Bill? Well, we'll offer up our dole time so that you can talk over what's happening and get this thing passed before the election. You know,
I nearly fell out of my seat. I was like, that is a good play.
Yeah, I know.
I could not believe it. The villain work read it out to me, and we were all just like, that makes sense, and
Yeah.
is good, and might work.
I know. And then the other one that they kept bringing up, we looked at it last week as well. Micheál Martin has asked about the Occupied Territories bill, and he's like, even Frances Black, who put the bill forward, she thinks that like there's things that need to be worked out. So then there was an article in the Irish Times where basically Frances Black is just saying like, yeah, I think they are. I think they do need to be worked out, and I think they should be worked out immediately, and it should be done straight away.
Yeah.
And then Simon Harris said, here's the headline from the Journal. Important not to play politics with the Occupied Territories bill. Like he wasn't doing that. Like they weren't.
Yeah.
That wasn't the explicit purpose of why they brought this up. Like it's just wild to me. They're like,
they really
no,
do
don't play
excel at
politics
that.
with this. You know,
Just be like, don't play politics with me. Well,
and by the way, it was a clip that we should watch actually, where like he was in front of like, I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know how government works. I'm sorry. I know I have a podcast, but they still don't make it any easier. Yeah, there's an Oireachtas Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defence. The chairperson is Charlie Flanagan. I just wanted to watch the first 2 minutes of this clip, okay, of Micheál Martin, our favourite. We love watching clips of him. He's on top form as usual, just being like, how very dare you ask me anything? You know?
Yeah. Ask me that softball question.
Well, this one they're being, because it's an accounts committee, they're being a little tougher on him. But the thing that come up, and it's the first 2 minutes. Don't be like, oh, it's a 7-minute clip. Well, you know, why do we have to watch that?
Yeah.
Which I know you were. So
But
can you hear this?
There, just
Gee,
at
it was
lunchtime
7
today,
minutes.
the Ditch did release a statement that you were given, that the ambassador, the American ambassador, wrote to you 90 minutes before you issued a statement committing to only a review rather than the enactment of this legislation. And, you know, I think that you should make a statement on that, because I just find it hard to believe that you're pretending there that you didn't know about it when.
Well, I think the Thomas that issue earlier in the meeting. I'm not sure what has
listen,
changed.
you know, there's an element.
Could I just make a point?
There's a question of trust.
So
Make a point on that.
pissed off.
We didn't.
I have.
We have signed a money message.
He's laughing.
So that contradicts that point. We've signed a money message. Government has approved the progression of the bill. So don't.
But you haven't actually progressed the bill.
Well, we have actually.
Well, it's not before the committee.
The money message has been signed. It's been issued.
Well, where is it?
Terminologies.
Yeah, let Deputy Cronin to
Dáil has
So there is a question of trust here, because, you know, it does seem very lastminute.com.
But Deputy, you've had
So much.
and your party reps will have ongoing.
You will be honest, and you know,
Yeah.
I have congratulated when you have made when you recognise the state of Palestine. I have congratulated when you spoke up on UNRWA. I have been honest and said, you know, when I feel you're doing the right thing. So don't be making smart aleck remarks towards me, please. Don't.
Yes, I won't either. All I'm simply saying to you is that, like, the US embassy will contact governments. It does. That's the role of embassies.
Warning of consequences.
No, I think that's
what the email. That's what the Ditch is reporting.
Well, I see the Ditch is reporting. The Ditch.
We're not going to
you know
advance.
my views on the Ditch. It's
not going to
as
advance
much a
that
political
point.
organisation as well as anything else.
They're happy with
It's
your
been a few I've had, but and it has its views, and it's entitled to have its views in a democracy. But I think it can also contrive how it reports things, and there will always be communication between embassies. But the point is, notwithstanding whatever communications come from any embassy, we have actually issued a money message as a point
okay,
I've made.
Sorry, and I know that you're under time constraints. I believe that we have very highly intelligent people in the legal industry now who can work on amendments, and we have offered our time. Sinn Féin offered our time tomorrow. Soc Dems the day after. You know, this committee will sit tonight. This committee will sit tomorrow. This committee will sit early Thursday morning, to go through this and to pass this bill, because I can't help but believe that you're going to put this on the long finger, and you're never going to move this bill because of your bedfellows in a lot because of
Why is she so bad at this?
About Pascal Donoghue and
it's crazy how bad
communications he had with the Israeli ambassador.
Irish politicians are at speak.
I know.
We know that Fine Gael isn't.
I'll tell you something after this, but I just want to get to this bit with Charlie Flanagan.
I think that's an unfair comment. But
Just a point of no, it's not unfair. I think you're referring to a report in the Ditch about Minister Pascal Donoghue talking to him. That never happened. Minister Pascal Donoghue has been, he's not here, but he's been adamant that conversation didn't happen, and he wasn't spoken to. So I don't think it's fair to draw conclusions from a conversation that did not occur.
Remember.
There is a touch, though, of the Lord make me chase, but not yet, to all this. Last minute.
I just want to say, Deputy Cronin, that we're obviously in full election campaign mode.
Yourself.
If the ditch is being quoted here loosely in the manner in which it has over the past hour,
I mean,
reference has been made to Minister Donoghue, who isn't here. But I recall a categoric statement that he made in response to an unfounded allegation that was made against him in that publication. I can't take it any further than that. I don't believe the Taoiseach can take it any further than that, or anybody in this committee.
Yeah, whatever. You get the thing. But yeah, basically what ended up happening, she was like, the Ditch has reported these things. And he's like, the Ditch? That's like a political fucking thing. And then she's like, yeah, well, nevertheless, like, you are going to avoid doing anything with this bill. I can't believe that I have to try and appraise what she said. We just listened to her talk, and they're so bad at talking that I actually have to say what happened in the clip. But ultimately, she's like, you're not going to do anything about it, and it's important, and we need to get it done. And then she cites another Ditch article with Pascal Donoghue, where Pascal Donoghue spoke to his Israeli counterpart to, basically say that, don't worry, nothing's going to happen with this. Pascal Donoghue's response then was like, no, that never happened, and they lied. Why would they lie? What are you talking about? Yeah. And then they just go, yeah, well, Pascal has already said that they lied, so I don't know what you're talking about. And then they go, then like Charlie Flanagan goes, well, I know that we're in election mode now, and people are, using the Ditch and trying to, and I was just like, how disparagingly they refer to the Ditch is just oh no, they're just a bunch of liars. They're just a bunch of bullshitters. It's like, no, they have these pages that they can point to. They go, look at this. That's there. That's written down. Okay. Except for actually an instance where FedEx have now apparently been deleting, whatever slips where they're bringing weapons into Israel. But ultimately what I'm saying is like, they're not reporting out of nothing. They're not making shit up. They have receipts. And these people are just going like, oh, well, you can prove anything with evidence.
Yeah. I was just announced the election.
Oh, really? When is it?
29th.
Thank God. We already knew that because I booked my flights back. So like, they already knew that because basically they've known for ages. They've known for a long, long, long time. And then people were getting pretty pissed off and fed up about it. And then Roderick O'Gorman was on like walking around and he was like, I wish he'd just say it's the 29th already. It's literally what he said. He said just like that straight up. And then they were like, I don't know where he got that number from. I don't know what he's talking about. And they're kind of irritated that he mentioned it. And I was just like, no, like that's a normal thing to do, to be like, like the fact that you knew so much in advance. Yeah, that's true. Actually, sorry, I didn't think about it like that.
He ruined our clever trick.
And like, you'd think like, because you'd be like, just the idea of them, the reason they think it's a clever trick is because their guys get to win. But it's like, it's actually really fucking anti-democratic and awful to do something like, do what they did,
Yeah. I mean, it is. I read Owen Murphy's book. I finished it.
Wait. I didn't want to leave that for 2 seconds. I want to say something else. And now I forgot.
Okay.
So I guess we should talk about Owen Murphy's book. What was I going to say? Oh, no, I wanted to bring up, because I said in the middle of that clip, I watched the group chat, or I listened to it, where they were interviewing Mary Lou McDonald, and I had to put it on double speed, and she still didn't even sound like she was talking normal. She just sounds like she is like, because she is like, she sounds like fucking, she's on Quaaludes or something, do you know? Like, she's just like, you know, I was very clear in the past.
Do you think you are as well set up, or that you're coming into it in the best form that you possibly could be? Because it's been a bit of a bruising old 6 weeks or so for you and the party.
Yeah, it's been quite something. Actually, we in many ways have never been more prepared for a campaign. I think we have now something that we never had before, which is a very wide team of incumbent TDs. You know, we've got experience now in the legs. We've got a really, really good front bench team. We've got a very good backbench team. People are well embedded in their communities, well across their briefs. A huge amount of work has been done. You've seen our housing policy, our health policy, which was launched yesterday, childcare. So in many ways, in terms of a policy offering to people for a government of change, a government other than Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, or Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, around sorting out housing, making a huge difference in health, affordable childcare, all of those pieces, we have lots to say and a huge amount to offer. So yeah, we're ready. We're good to go.
That's the free bit. Head over to www.patreon.com/CelticLigers to get the rest of the episode, where there's more general election breakdown. They talk about Simon Harris being a Weasley weasel gifted by where he decides to weasel. What they think the outcome of the next general election will be. Then they read an article about the confused politics of the people of Roscrea and how large chunks of Ireland are just too bleak to exist. Thanks.